It's been months since you heard from your attorney. You decided you wanted to sue your doctor for all the injuries you suffered because he was careless. And now, after hiring an attorney, you're sitting around waiting for months and you haven't heard anything. You want to know what's really going on behind the scenes? Come join me on this walk through the neighborhood as I tell you exactly what's going on and why there's such a delay. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. So you decide to sue your doctor. Well, before you can go ahead and sue your doctor, you have to meet with an attorney, and your attorney has to get all of your medical records. Then he has to have your medical records reviewed by a qualified medical expert to determine if there is a valid basis for a case. That is the only way you can go forward with a lawsuit. So now you decide to find the best attorney you possibly can. You now sit down and meet with them for a while, and then guess what? Your attorney tells you, okay, sign this retainer, sign these permission slips known as authorizations that will allow me to get copies of your medical records. The attorney then has to go ahead and actually and physically obtain copies of your medical records from the various doctors you've treated with, as well as the various hospitals where you receive treatment. Guess what? That takes a good deal of time. It doesn't just happen overnight. It doesn't take a few days. That takes weeks. Many times it takes months. So now, after your attorney has gone through the process of requesting your records, many days, weeks, and months will go by before he obtains all of the necessary medical records. Now, here's what really smart attorneys do. They will get those medical records and then they will read every single page of those records. And if you have a lot of care and treatment from various doctors and hospitals, it could take weeks to go through all of those records. So that will account for a sizable delay of why you're sitting around waiting for your attorney to call you to tell you whether or not you have a valid basis for a case. So that's delay number one. Getting the medical records and then having the attorney go through them to evaluate them himself to see whether or not there may be something there. But that's not all. There's more. Yes, there is more. So where's there more? The attorney then has to take your medical records and now send it off to a qualified medical expert. Now that's going to take time because your attorney now has to copy all of those records, send it off to the expert, and now we have to wait for the expert to go through those records to then give us a final conclusion or final analysis about whether or not you actually have a valid basis for a case. Now, just so you know what the expert is looking for, the expert has to determine whether or not the doctor violated the basic standards of medical care and whether those violations, that carelessness, was a cause of your injury. That's what he has to look for. If he comes back and says, yes, there is a valid basis for a case, it now means we're able to show that there is liability, that the doctor was careless. Number two, that his carelessness was a cause of your injury. And number three, that your injuries are significant and or permanent. All three of those things have to be present in order to go forward with a valid case. So in addition to the delay that you perceive from getting the medical records and the delay from the attorney reading those medical records and the delay in getting the expert those records to review, now we have to wait for the medical expert to give us a final analysis. Only then will the attorney likely call you and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, I just want to let you know we've obtained all of your records, a medical expert has reviewed your case, and now he's come to the following conclusion. At that point, that's when your attorney is going to tell you whether or not you have a case. If you do have a case, he'll tell you, yes, we can go ahead and start a lawsuit on your behalf. If you do not have a case, the attorney will tell you, I'm sorry, we cannot help you at this point. Here are your options. So why do I share this quick information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding into what goes on in these medical malpractice cases here in New York. You know, I realize you're likely watching this as I'm crossing the street and watching out for cars. I realize you're likely watching this because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York, and you have not yet started a lawsuit, but are thinking of doing so, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207, or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a great day.